Welcome to writingalong.com. This is actually a re-recording of creative writing versus journaling. The first one uploaded, it was a duplicate. But you know what? That's not going to stop this from still going forward because it's a message a lot of people really need to hear. Distinction that's not always so clear, which is pretty frustrating as a beginner writer when all you want to do is get your thoughts and ideas out there. And sometimes it really does feel like you call yourself a writer, but what have you really written? It's all just been these journal entries. And how does that add up? How does that surmount into an identity, into a person, into a part of who you are? Or you might ask, like, am I a writer or am I just journaling? Like, what is that distinction? All it really is, writing, creative writing specifically. You are telling stories that people automatically resonate and connect with and are searching for. People are looking for stories. They want to hear them. They want to be told them. They don't even always have to be good. Have you seen the stuff on television? It doesn't mean that we want bad, whatever that means to you or me, stories, but they just want to hear real human events, real things that are occurring. Um, Not real as in they're in the real world, but just in the sense of it's an experience. It can be lived. It's a human thing because it's an opportunity to learn about themselves. You may be thinking, why do people want to hear about random lives that don't even exist technically in reality? But people, why are we interested in that? What is a good book really doing? It's teaching you about yourself because you're thinking, well, what would I do in that situation? Um, how would I react to that? Maybe not very consciously, not very forward in your mind, but in the background, that kind of stuff is going on. That's why it's mentally stimulating. That's why it's exciting, because you wonder what are the stakes. What self insertion is a huge thing in terms of writing stories, journaling. It's just kind of it's not really events. It could be like the equivalent of just screaming in the dark and no one hears it. It's just you kind of going off on what you're this free association of your emotions and your experiences, and you're not really giving them any kind of cohesiveness, no direction. I'm not going to discredit what you journal. I mean, you may talk about some pretty deep, heavy stuff, some really interesting things, or you might just be saying you're very just kind of superficial, one-off perceptions of the world, but you're not going out of your way to make it presentable, something beyond just it looks nice. No, I don't mean that. I mean it's something that a reader would be looking for. Creative writing is prioritizing your reader. Journaling is not necessarily doing that, and that's okay. I do want to provide some kind of preface to this, which is to say that journaling is incredibly valuable. You can learn a lot about yourself, not just as a writer, but as a person and as a whole. You don't want to create like, I'm a journaler, I'm a creative writer. No, do both, but just be aware of that difference. Otherwise, you're going to come up short when the day comes, and it's like, okay, well, what do you have to show? You show people your journals. I mean, it how far they can feign their interest, it only goes and takes you so far, because you may find someone who's really like, wow, this is really interesting. I like hearing this, but you hit a limit, you hit a ceiling really quick. It's a really low ceiling because the appeal just isn't there, and it's not because of what you have to say isn't it doesn't have this element of mass appeal, or you may discredit and actually devalue your own writing because you present your journaling to people and it just doesn't reach, it doesn't connect. And that's why, as writers, you're a storyteller. You are bringing those feelings that you have. You are bringing those, it's like you're capturing the essence of time, of a world, of a place, and you're breathing that life into stories, and you're animating these characters. Not animation, like you see in a movie, all that graphical depictions of creation. No, I mean, you're doing that mentally. Think of what an animator does. Where do you think that word came from? Reanimation. That's what in Mary Shelley's famous work. You read it or not, you don't have to. But Dr. Frankenstein, right? He created this. He was an animator, reanimator of life. That's what you are as a writer, but not on the screen. Maybe it might get adapted. Not in any other sense. You're not making these little figures, these claymation, that kind of stuff. You're not sewing human body parts together and letting a lightning bolt shoot down, and it's nothing like that. It's more real. It's more real than something on a screen ever wish it could be. It's more closer to the heart of humanity than even just something else external could ever even hope to be. You're going directly into the reader's mind. Now that's something amazing, and that's what creative writing can do. That's the power of it, and that's why, as a writer, you really need to make that distinction. Not just because I told you to, like all this stuff, but because the stakes are there. You don't want to lose your enthusiasm, your motivation. You don't want it to die out because you were just unsure of how to even make the delegation. Am I writing? Am I doing creative writing, or am I just journaling? I really would recommend everybody keep some kind of journal, whether that's just in your phone notes, something you just keep to yourself, just a little notebook that's just yours, and you don't really share it, or if someone else finds it, good for them. Who cares? But it's for you. You need to give yourself that time, and even if you really are very focused in creative writing, you're still listening to this, right? So it must have some kind of resonance with you, and it may be calling you like, yeah, it's great to portray all these complex ideas and these concoctions of worldview into stories and characters, and as they parallel to your mind. But sometimes you need to see your mind even more directly. You need to see it reflected back at you even more honestly than a story could, because a story, what's coming to you it's not diluted, but in a sense it kind of is filtered, because you have to, again, like I said, encompass the reader. They're in the back of your head. Otherwise, what are you writing for if you're doing it creatively? You're not going to reach anybody. And to reach people, it's not a bunch of tactics. It's not just a grab bag of, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to. If you miss that, then you fail. It's not 100 tips. It's not. It's one. Acknowledge that there's a reader on the other side and respect them. Respect their time. Give them what they're looking for. That doesn't mean give them whatever trendy stories in the top 10 New York Times bestseller list. That thing is, I'd have a video just like an episode just on that. There's nothing wrong with it, but I don't want you to aspire towards stuff like that. I want you to tell the story that is coming to you. Tell the story that you were born to tell, because that's what you have to contribute to the world. I want writers to not just come at this with some nonsense. I want them to really bring something to the world that they don't even have to try. They don't have to force it out of them. It's already within them. It's already within you. And to do that, you need to realize writing is essentially giving a part of yourself, offering a part of you. And sometimes you have to give more than you're ever even able to just give to yourself. And that's why you are responsible for kind of creating that balance every now and then. Otherwise, your output is going to suffer, because you're going to lose sight. You're going to lose track of who you are. If you're just, it's easy to get caught up into that trap of thinking, I need to write like this. I need to write this kind of story. I need to share this kind of stuff. This is what people are looking for. This is the kind of story they want. No, it's not the kind of story that they want. That's where your creative freedom is unlimited. But what they are looking for, again, is just human elements. People going places, people doing things. They don't have to be profound or significant. They could be. And you are the master of your domain. You are in charge of the dynamics. You can produce something that it strikes a chord. It's like something no one has ever heard before. You can be that kind of groundbreaking storyteller. That's what I want you to do. You have it in you. And it would be a shame if the world never got to see it, if they never got to read it. But again, to keep yourself in line with that. Keep yourself in line. Because it's, like I said, it's so easy to veer off. There's so many pressures as a writer. It's impossible to silence everything around you to think, I can just shut myself off in the world and write whatever I want. I'm never going to read anything about, book reviews or what people are, latest literature stuff. Like, you can block it all, but guess what? Some stuff is going to get through. It's a loud world, and find those moments of silence, not just through writing stories, but through writing just for yourself. Journal sometimes. You don't even have to call it journaling. You don't have to call it, I'm doing my journal entry for the day. Like, no, it's just, what are you thinking about right now? The stuff you can't really share with people because it's a disarray. It's not really organized. There's value in that sense of disorganization and that stuff that you can't really piece or put together. It just looks like the ramblings of a mad person. Get that down. It's going to tell you. It's going to be a story for yourself. It's a story of your own mind that no one else is really going to understand. It's not a human, but it's you. You're going to understand it. You're going to understand the context, right? Because journaling is without a context. And I did say this for the end because, people skip to the end. I say that a lot, but people do. If you watch the whole thing, I'm really glad you do. But it really doesn't matter the engagement with this or how long you listen to it. What matters is what you get from it. And again, journaling without context. Reader has no idea what you're talking. You have all these reference points. You have all these markers in your mind, these significant points and these things you're referring to. The reader has no idea what the hell you're talking about. But you do. Again, that's why it's journaling. Writing, you're the creator of context. You're taking on the creator role a little more. And let that not intimidate you, but let that inspire you because it's unlimited. Check out, if you're interested in writing a book, How to Write a Book in 30 Days. It's a 10-part guide I have on my website, writingalong.com. I really hope you can get something out of it. More than just hope. I know you will. Send it to your inbox, and I really hope to see you around. Like I said, this is a re-recording. I had to get that 100 days of writing advice because if one of these episodes reaches you in the right place, if it inspires that within you as a writer, if you feel like you're just kind of putting writing off, am I making excuses for it? I'm just not ready. Something's holding me back. I can't get my thoughts together. Find the episode that helps you. Find the episode that resonates with you. All this content, it's been for you. It's really just been for you directly, not indirectly, directly recorded and made just for you. I really appreciate you stopping by. It means it's significant and it's going to make a change in your life. I'm telling you, if you have a book and you communicate your ideas, your thoughts through writing, it's life-changing in more ways than you can even imagine or comprehend or predict right now. Once again, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you around.